Yeah. So if you're done, and then you can always go to view, and then you say, stop, leave immerse. Then you come back to this. Okay. Now with that immersing, we can see, the student basically, how many of them, okay, are coming. So we also can do some of the setup here. You got a lot of option. Like take example, like
It's
this
under
one.
view. You said it's under view in the top corner.
Right on the top. Yeah, view. You see
I
that?
don't.
If you,
I
yeah.
don't see. I mean, I see view, but all I see is full screen and show meeting times.
Ah,
But
so,
you might have to be the host.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. You need to be a host first. Okay, let me kind of
Okay.
give you, okay, okay, let you be the host, and then you can play around with it. Okay, okay, here. All right. Now you are host. You can you
Okay,
can
I
go
see
to
it.
view and change that around.
Yeah. Okay, I
Okay,
see it.
as you wish. Okay, while I'm entertaining the student. Okay. Noel, are you done with your exam?
Yes.
Okay. When was the last exam that you have? Yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay. Then what happened now? Okay. What happened? You will be attending the middle school SMP, right? Very soon.
Yes.
Okay. Where at? St. Louis?
Yeah. Still sun.
Okay. All right. Now, Ken, Professor Pence now in the class, on the board. Maybe you like it more. But
I
then,
mean, I
yeah,
don't know where I would go in this one.
yes, if you share the screen, all the participant will show up underneath it,
Okay.
underneath your presentation. Yeah, it's pretty cool if you want to, yeah, without further ado, okay, I just pass it to you, Professor Ken. And also, just a reminder, as I said before, this today is our last meeting. Okay, since Professor Pence we'll have some break, summer break or something like that. Okay, so we are excited and thankful for Professor Pence time to come with us, and we are hoping in the fall that will be August when the school start again here in the U.S. We will continue maybe this time with biology. Is that sound like a plan, Professor
We
Pence?
can do that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, without further ado, I just pass the mic to you. Thank you.
Okay. So what I wanted to do today was like go back and look over some of the mitosis stuff we looked at last week, go back over some of the cancer stuff, and kind of focus more on uh, some of the processes that are going on with cancer development and research. So very quickly, we'll look at our mitotic phases again. So with mitosis, it is a very short phase. Majority of the time, the cell is in interphase. So you should only see the chromosomes that you see in these images during mitosis. Every other cell that you see that you don't see the kind of solid purple structures, those are all in interphase. And remember, go back slides. So remember with mitosis, you have these subphases. Prophase, this is where you have the chromosomes kind of condensing down. They're still inside their nucleus. Metaphase is where you have the um, chromosomes aligned down the middle. Anaphase is where they separated. And then telophase is where you see this figure 8 shape form. So these are actually cell slides that I have in my classroom that I took pictures of. So see if we can identify some of these, and I have another one on the other slide too. So we'll start with, I'll tell you this one. Every one you see, like this one here, where you don't see any dark slides or dark stains, like this one and this one, these are all in interphase because the chromosomes aren't being condensed down yet, which means they're not in mitosis. When you see chromosomes like these here, these are all interphase. So I'll give you this one. This one's a prophase because the chromosomes are starting to condense down. And I can tell it's prophase because they're still in that little circle. See how it's still in the sphere? That means all the chromosomes are still inside their nucleus. They haven't erupted out yet. This guy and this one here, these two, these are in metaphase. So they go from the circle to a straight line down the middle. And then this guy over here is anaphase. So you can see that there's a set of chromosomes going in that direction, and there's a set of chromosomes going down in this direction. And then this one is also another prophase. I'll give you this one. This one's a telophase because you can see this figure 8. You can see how the cell splits into split. So that's going to be a telophase. It's also a telophase right there too, the figure 8. So what do y'all think this cell would be? Or the subphases? We want to have the mouse on. So if you look at it, right, the chromosomes, straight line up and down the middle. So which one's that?
So mitosis is the process of the splitting the cell, right?
Correct. It's copying itself and making a new cell.
Okay. Now, in terms of cancer, cancer diseases, the mitosis is uncontrolled. Like it just go very fast.
Yes, it's this back-to-back repetition of mitosis.
So what kind of protein that make this mitosis can affect this mitosis process?
Proteins,
For example, make it faster or
it's not really
or
well.
lower?
I'm going to go over some stuff today, but there's several different proteins, actually. It's according to what type of cancer, too. So we know a couple for BRCA or breast cancer. We know a couple for breast cancer. It's going to be different from colon cancer.
Right.
It's going to be different from lung cancer. But
Exactly.
yeah, the protein that's being produced is usually mutated or not working correctly. That's why it would go into cancer.
Right. Have there any, I believe that there has been a lot of research, for example, mitosis in breast cancer and also, in A disease and B disease, and what kind of protein that will, let's say, to lower the process or to get rid of the process, right? It has been a lot of research.
So I was going to get to some examples of that today. There's really nothing so far as like just a protein wise, but if you do know, here, let's go to the slide. Come back to that.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, so they're called risk factors. So with risk factors, they're kind of probabilities of somebody getting cancer, and there's several different types of risk factors. One that we're talking about right now, it's inherited or acquired through genes. And you can test for this. So we know that several cancer types, breast cancer, colon cancer, ovarian cancer, lung cancer, thyroid cancer, pancreatic cancer, all these we know they are associated with a specific gene. And you can screen people for the genes.
Okay.
And if somebody has the gene, it doesn't mean they will get cancer, but it means they have a high likelihood of getting cancer.
Right.
And I'll talk about what happens with the genes in a minute too.
Yeah.
But a really good example of this that I give in my classrooms is, everybody know who Angelina Jolie is, the famous actress. So with Angelina, her mother died of breast cancer and her grandmother died of ovarian cancer.
Oh.
So she decided to get screened, and when she got screened, she found out she had both types of BRCA genes, which was one for breast cancer, one for ovarian cancer.
Right.
So again, there's nothing she could have done because she can't change her genes. But what she did do is the genes are coding for protein specifically in the breast tissue and in her ovaries. So she opted to get those taken out. She removed her breast tissue and she removed her ovaries. That way she guaranteed it that she would never get cancer. But again, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So just because she had those genes doesn't mean she would have got cancer, but she was so scared that since her
Right,
mother had it and her grandmother had it, that there was a really likelihood she would get it too.
right. So are these tests available for everybody or only
Yes.
for those who can pay?
Well, I mean, you would have to pay for it, yes, but most insurances, if you have family histories, will cover the cost.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Now, in terms of the lab, let's talk about the, at the lab level at the college, from your experience, do they, try some of this protein and see, maybe just to see them grow, right? In the
Mhm.
petri grow.
Okay,
But
you have, yeah.
there is no, uh, effort, not effort. I think there's no opportunity for them to say, okay, like, for example, uh, if it not grow, how can we make it grow? If it is grow too fast, how can we reduce that rate of growth?
Mhm.
Did they go that far in the lab?
Yeah, so there's actually I can't think of her name, but there's one famous woman who had a type of cancer, and they took a biopsy or they took some of her cancer cells,
Right.
and there's still cultures of this cancer that's been around for like
Oh,
30 years.
all
It's still
right.
growing. It's still growing. And they're using that plus other people's cancers, biopsies to do tests. I'll come back to the environmental.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll talk about this. So with what you're talking about with treatments, um,
Mm-hmm.
again, we know what chemotherapy does. So chemotherapy is there's specific chemicals
Right.
that when put into the cell, it causes them to stop growing.
Right.
The
Right.
bad thing with chemotherapy is that um it's not
Not perfect.
no, it's pretty good. But what I'm saying is it's not it can't pick cancer cells. It picks mitotic cells. So it kills the good cells and the bad cells.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
So with people that are on chemotherapy, they have things like very weak skin, they have their hair fall out, they
Right.
have digestive issues. That's because it's killing the cancer cells and the good mitotic cells that are in the hair, skin, and the intestine. So
And
it can't
also, yeah, and also it did not kill it all because I heard that, some of the patient come back,
yeah,
right?
so
Come back.
that's called recession, not recession,
Yeah,
remission. Yeah,
yeah,
so the thing is there with that, if you were to keep on chemo, you would kill every cell in your body that was mitotic. So you have to stop at a point. And hopefully if you hit that point, you do have all the cancer cells dead by the end. But if
yeah.
not, they grow back and it's called remission.
So that's the reason why I think now CRISPR is really the solution for right now. Okay, right now,
Mm-hmm.
even even now they cannot get rid of or eradicate all type of cancer, but it is
Mm-hmm.
still in process.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think the college is not make all these things excited?
I bet you some people are, but CRISPR again, I think the way CRISPR works, it's kind of a two-part system. It's a GPS location system and a edit system. So
Mm,
you have to figure out, again, each one of these cells is going to be a little bit different. So
right,
you're not going to have one CRISPR for every cancer cell. So
right.
you have to modify CRISPR's GPS to find the cancer cell, and then you have to modify the CRISPR's edit system to change that DNA in that cell. So there's not one was
One way.
kill all.
Yes,
It's not
yeah,
one kill all CRISPR for cancer.
right,
So again, it's going to take a long time to get all cancers fixed with CRISPR.
right. I still remember what you said last time. You said there, you know, so many possibilities. Which one? Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
There's
And also
this
you
is
have uh, a group of cell and then that sort of thing. Now, this is what I heard. Okay, some company now try to with they develop a new technology. So
mhm,
basically, they can identify exactly, which one that need to be pulled among those thousand million of cell. It's just
mhm,
incredible. Okay,
mhm.
so I believe that guys, you heard all of this. Okay, the possibility. Okay, there's so many possibility for you guys as the young scientists. The only thing that you need to do is what? Okay, be persistent. All right, not not try to forget what the future is waiting for you. Will it be easy? No. Will it be rewarding? Yes. But I'm not sure whether or not this kind of thing, okay, possibility or opportunities have been offered in Indonesia. Okay, that the reason why we need to think outside the box. Outside the box. It is very difficult. Okay, first thing that you have to learn the language. Second thing, you have to learn the subject matter. And the third thing, you have to compete in the global world because you are not the only one. Okay, people from India, from all over the world, it's just competing. Okay, but
Yes,
yeah,
but there always should be something to compete for, because
yeah,
with this, there's always something being researched.
yes,
You just
yes,
got to
yes.
keep trying to find one of them.
Right, right, right. So sorry for my long question. I mean, I just try to make this, this thing make sense to this young scientist, like call of young scientist.
So one on the slide, let me talk about the other two really quick: radiation therapy and immunotherapy. So radiation therapy is also highly studied. With radiation, the way it works is it's high energy, kind of like sunlight, but with this high energy, it's able to destroy cells. So with radiation therapy, it's only used for very like top level cancers in the skin and like right underneath the skin, maybe, but not deep in the body. But this last one, immunotherapy, this is also something that's very new to the game. Immunotherapy, if this was to be like perfected, this one probably could stop cancer, because the way that our bodies work, if there's something in us that shouldn't be in us, our bodies destroy it, kind of like bacteria cells and then virus cells. So with cancer cells, if we can take somebody's cancer cell and then kind of map it and draw what's on the surface of the cell, we can teach our cells to look for that specific shape. And then after we teach our cells that, it will destroy it. It'll just go around our body and find every cell that looks like it and destroy it, just like if we were infected with bacteria. So again, if immunotherapy is what I would guess, or what I would bet is going to be the best way to stop cancer in the next like 10 years.
Okay.
Because immunotherapy is our bodies work better. This is kind of using our own bodies to fight cancer.
So how fast are they working on this to treat cancer with
I know
CRISPR?
there's a big institute in Texas that's doing this. They are the Cancer Institute. I think it's the Cancer Institute in Texas. They are focusing on this. A lot of people that get diagnoses from doctors that said they can't be helped with their cancer, they go to this institute, because with immunotherapy, if they can find a specific protein just on these cells, and then they can use our immune cells to teach our body to kill it. And then again, that they had a diagnosis from another doctor that said that they couldn't do nothing for them.
Right. Now let's give the opportunity for the kid. All right. Are there any question? Alfonso, Noel, I didn't see your face. Okay. So put your face, on the screen. All right. So are there any question for Professor Pence? Okay, this is about cancer. And remember today, okay, our last meeting for the semester. So you guys really have to take this opportunity. Okay. Okay, Alfonso, do you understand what we are discussing?
Yes, sir.
In what sense that you understand? You want to be a doctor, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, ask question. Okay. All right. I think they're still learning, and
It's
okay,
fine.
we are hoping that one day more interaction. Yeah, go ahead, Professor.
So this is kind of what you were talking about a while ago with proteins.
Mm,
So up in the top corner, you see the circle. So with the
Mm.
circle, this is what a normal cell should look like
Ah,
if it goes through mitosis. So you can see that mitosis is a very small little triangle, and the
right,
rest of the circle is just regular growth. So with a cancer cell, the cancer cell goes straight from this little triangle
right.
up into the little triangle. It's nonstop mitosis, so it never hits these larger segments in the time frame it should.
Mm.
And these are controlled by proteins, like you said. So these
Mm.
proteins, they're different for every cell. So we can't, again, it's no catch-all for the proteins. But these proteins are monitoring things in the circle called checkpoints. So this square here is called a checkpoint, and that square there is called a checkpoint, and then this little square here is a checkpoint. So with these checkpoints, they are stopping the phase for a very short time, and they have a little, think of a checklist, and they go down their checklist and they check off and make sure everything's the way it should be. And if it's not, a normal cell, a healthy cell, goes through a process called apoptosis. And
Yeah,
apoptosis means it'll pop basically. It'll hit a self-destruct button, and that self-destruct button will cause it to pop. And that way it will not become cancerous.
all right,
Again, that's what every cell in our body should do if it's messed up.
right.
Now, with cancer cells, there's a mutation. And we talked about mutations a little bit already, but mutations mean that the DNA changes a little bit. And when the DNA changes, that causes the protein to change.
Yeah, yeah. So the role of protein is very, very significant.
Mhm.
Okay. I think now, it will be helpful for the student to know the role of protein, right? So will that be discussed in biology or chemistry?
Proteins we hit in biology, general biology. Like,
Bio. Okay.
yeah.
So
So like,
maybe, yeah, like we said before, maybe in the fall we can kind of talk about, general bio, and then, we move hopefully
mhm.
to, to talk about protein, because this is such an interesting, I feel like I want to go back to college again here.
Well, yeah, so protein chemistry or well, technically it's chemistry. Protein biology too would be taught in like the very first chapters of Gen Bio. And there's a lot on protein stuff. I mean, there's enzymes, there's activation energies,
Hmm.
there's a lot on proteins.
Yeah.
There's denaturation, there's prions. Um, but
So
okay,
how many type can we in general of the
proteins.
type of protein? 100,
Okay.
1,000?
um with the human genome, I think it's several, like 50,000.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's up in the 50,000 range.
That the reason why one person, one researcher, one medical doctor only specialize in one small thing, a
Mhm.
certain protein.
Yeah. And then again, everybody's a little different. So just because
Right,
there's 50,000 proteins doesn't mean that person, like a single person, makes that many. It just means that
right,
we know that there's that many in the population. So
you're right,
everybody
right,
can make more or less. It's a little different.
right.
Hmm.
Wow, it is, yeah, it is truly amazing. I mean, it depends to interest of the student, what kind of thing that, he would like to answer. Maybe because of the background, their grandma got, die because of something, a certain, cancer.
Disease. Hmm.
Okay, so their interest go to that kind of thing. Okay, and this is just cancer, not talking about MS, ALS.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of the diseases are from protein, or at least gene, and then the gene causes protein abnormalities.
Ah, mm.
So,
Okay.
like with this image here, you can see it says normal P53 and mutated P53.
Mhm.
So P53, that's the protein for this specific cancer type. So
Right.
the square here means that it's working correctly, and when it's
Mm.
working correctly, this is the self-destruct button. So with the self-destruct button, the cell messes up, it hits the button that protein's created, and it pops.
Right.
Over
right.
here, you can see that there's a chunk missing of the protein. So this protein is not working correctly. So the cell
Right.
knows, the bad thing is the cell knows that it's messed up, and then it's hitting the brakes or it's hitting the self-destruct button for it to terminate itself, but it can't because the protein's not working correctly. It
Right.
literally is like if you're driving down the road and you hit your brakes and your brakes don't work because the protein would be the brakes here.
Wow. Now let's ask Michelle Tang. Michelle here, fresh grad, okay, from high school. Michelle, okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you guys talk about all this stuff in your class, bio class?
In my biology class, I think we only learned about the DNA and RNA. We don't really discuss about anything about cancer. No.
Right. So basically in general biology, right? That what you guys, okay, study.
Right.
Okay. Now, if I'm really hope that the curriculum in Indonesia is much better that talk about, the surface, okay, that not really encourage the student, not excite them and not motivate them to do something, big. Do you agree, Michelle? The curriculum need to be get better.
Yes, I agree. I think they have a new curriculum Merdeka, but I'm not sure if they actually improve because my year I only have this curriculum 2013. I haven't really experienced. Never really experienced what this curriculum Merdeka is like. So I don't really know.
Right. Yeah. My goodness. Oh,
Are we talking about like her like high school or college? Which one are we talking about?
high school, right,
High
Michelle?
school? Okay.
Yeah. So, Professor Pence, we got a lot in our shoulder here. How could we motivate this kid if they do not? They just learn about the surface, even the
Mhm.
terminology, not really try to connect this with the real, okay, application of it on, eradicate the disease. Okay. Now, what about in the college level from your experience?
What do you mean? Like where they learn?
Yeah.
Or
Did you guys talk about what is the application of this theory? And some kids say, I don't need mathematics. I have my calculator.
oh, okay. So yeah. Well, if they're in my gen bio, they're in some sort of like STEM class. They should be at least a STEM major. So they hopefully are going to be using this later on. But if they're in like my concepts class, my
Right.
concepts class is mostly kind of teachers. So they're going to be teaching kids what I'm teaching them later on when they get their teaching degree. So
Right.
yeah. And then with A&P, of course, A&P is going to be using this every day. So
So what do you think the probability that they have this kind of biology calculator in the future? For example, if I think some of the MD, right? What is it? Pro MD or something like that online. They said, if you put some of your symptoms, like the temperature, you coughing, you vomit, whatever, how to say, this is the diagnosis. You are infected by virus.
yeah, I mean, that I wouldn't trust. I actually wouldn't trust that. I would have to go get a test done. But I mean, I would say I would use that as a preliminary to see what I should do, but I wouldn't go by that without a test.
Right. Without
Yes.
knowing the basic, the reason.
Yes.
Okay. But this TikTok generation, you know what I'm talking about? They just want click.
Yes, I
TikTok.
understand. I totally understand that. And then a lot of my students, they like say they use WebMD or they use the net for
Right.
again, it's cheaper because they think it's cheaper. But if there is something seriously wrong, a heart attack can mimic heartburn or acid reflux. So somebody might think they need to take a Tums when they actually should be going to get their heart
Yeah.
checked out because they're having a heart attack. So
That's exactly right. Well, this, like I said, there are a lot of opportunity. Now, another thing, are there any resources available online that basically talk about all this protein, the type of protein, what it affect, a certain disease? Have you come across on that?
that students will understand. um
Like a smart table, okay? This protein A will affect cancer type B. So people can say, okay, I'm not going to eat that kind of protein or type of food that contain that. Will that be helpful? My goodness, if not, we can make that one dictionary. What do you think?
I mean, there probably is. I just haven't came across that. I could try to look for something like that, but if I want to know something like that, I have access to other stuff that but I mean, that's more. I can go to the library and go to our databases for journal articles, which would be my first thing to do instead of using. Because again, with these websites, you would want to see who's making it first, because if it's not a reputable source like a university or maybe a research center, I
Right.
wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it, but I would have to see it, and yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Some of these kids can start doing that, make a dictionary, a
True.
table. Okay. They'll
Hmm.
be one day like a WebMD, but this is, BioMD or whatever you call it. Exciting. Okay. Just, I pass it on to you again back.
Let me see. Where do we get to? So we were talking about terminal suppressor genes. Tell you what, let's go back to this one here. So we talked about the risk factors for cancer. The ones that you can screen for are inherited. So that's not the only way to get cancer. Another way to get cancer is something called carcinogens, which is environmental exposure. So this is another big thing for people, just in the population in general, because we're exposed to carcinogens every day, and our bodies have to adapt to it. A good example of something that everybody's exposed to is sunlight. So sunlight is radiation; it's high energy, and that energy goes straight to our cells and messes up with our DNA. So normally we put it back together correctly, but if somebody's in the sunlight for extended periods of time, like daily, there's a chance that one cell doesn't put itself back together correctly, and that cell becomes cancerous. And again, this is completely random when the other one is a little bit more probability in it, because we know they have the almost defective gene, but these carcinogens are completely random, so anybody can get these. Another big one that we know is cigarette smoke. So it used to be anybody could smoke anywhere they wanted to,
Right.
and now you shouldn't be smoking within a restaurant. You shouldn't be smoking within vicinity of a hospital, because these are especially with the hospital, they're immunosuppressant individuals that could have a higher risk of getting something from the cancer smoke. And what's really interesting is there's a genetic test for carcinogens. It's called the Ames test. There's not really anything in the book about it, but with the Ames test, you take this type of bacteria that grows in the presence of an amino acid, and if it is in the presence of the amino acid, the bacteria is very healthy. And if you take the bacteria and place it on a petri dish with no amino acid, it dies. And then the test, though, is if you take the bacteria, put it on the petri dish with no amino acid, and then you add a chemical to it, kind of like cigarette smoke, alcohol, even charcoal, and then if it lives, that means that the chemical mutated the DNA in the bacteria. And if it can mutate bacteria DNA, it can mutate our DNA as well. And that's how you test for a carcinogen.
So it only will take one cell get affected and then it spread.
Exactly.
My goodness.
Only one cell needs to be affected. And
Wow.
it's very
So,
high risk.
having said that, I mean, we are living in this risky world That's what I will say it.
Exactly. So, and the thing is, most of the time with skin cancer is the most common type of cancer in the world, just
Right.
because of the everybody's exposed to sunlight, and it's usually the older you get, the longer you've been exposed to sunlight, and it's kind of age related too. So, skin cancers are in individuals that are later on, like they lived half their life already.
Yeah,
Just because,
I read an article that say, those who stay in Arizona, Utah, okay, get more exposed and
Mhm.
possibility to get it.
exactly, in Florida too.
Mm, all right. But all these people love to sunbathing and on the beach. So what's up with that?
Um, it's you
Are they
can
not knowing the risks?
they well what they've been told is sunscreen blocks the harmful
Right.
radiation. So if they're sunbathing and they want to protect themselves, then the best way to do that is with sunscreen. Not tanning lotion. Tanning lotion does not have sunscreen. Tanning lotion would and actually intensify the rays.
Mm,
Sunscreen, though, it does help block the radiation. So if they are bathing, hopefully they're using protection.
yeah. So at least you have to have like a 5 something, right? They have the measure.
SPF 5 at least. Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
best is 100. SPF
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, those who are in the US at least have the general idea about it. All right.
It's
Now,
yeah,
we're talking about sunbathing. In Asia, this is part of the nature. Okay. So does it mean they have more exposed into the skin cancer?
I don't I need to look that up. So I know Caucasians. Caucasians have limited melanin.
Right.
So melanin is a pigment that also helps protect from sun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So Asian populations have a little bit more melanin than Caucasians do. So they have
Right.
a little bit more protection, but they don't have a lot of protection because they don't have a highest quantity, says African Americans, because
Yeah.
African Americans have the highest and they have the most protection.
Yeah.
So being in, again, I think it's the Asian countries are kind of oriented towards, a lot of them are towards the equator, and the equator does get a lot of sunlight. So that's why
Mhm.
a lot of Asian populations have more melanin in their skin, because
Mm.
they've adapted to the sunlight. Doesn't mean they still can't get skin cancer. It just means that they are kind of adapted to that sunlight.
Yeah. Yeah. So nature make it possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
But it take million, maybe how many, thousand of years.
Oh yeah, about millennia, definitely millennia.
Yes. Yes. So like I said here, guys, opportunity is there. Oh my goodness. All right. You cannot get this kind of information in your classroom. Okay. The classroom even taught you, a very general bio, but this is the discussion that all future scientists need to listen to. Okay. But it's very unfortunate. Some of them, just do not have time, especially, in Saturday. Okay. All right. So pass it back to you. By the way, what is that? The green. Okay. We see that on the right top, the green section.
Which one we come out
Oh, not green. Blue. Yeah, that one.
on this? The DNA synthesis.
Yeah, on the top right.
Top
The
right.
blue, you see that?
Oh, this right here. That's okay.
Yeah.
These are the ones I use in my classroom, and the blues just mean very important information.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if they're in my classroom and they're getting this lecture, the blues means that that's important information they should probably remember for
Hmm.
test. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So another thing that, again, a lot of institutes are going to be needing are people that can look at cancer samples. So if somebody thinks they have cancer, what they would do is they would take a very small section of the area that they think is cancerous, the tumor, basically, and they would send the tumor off for what's called a biopsy. And the biopsy They would break it down. They would look at physical structures of the cells. They would look at the DNA of the cells. It's a lot of work, but it is important for that person because if that biopsy does come back showing cancerous, then that person's going to have some big decisions to make.
Surgery.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like I think we talked about this last week, but the best rate of survival for cancer is the quick determination, or what do we call it? Fast detection. So with fast
Yeah.
detection, if you can get it fast enough before it spreads, it's very easy to remove. If it spreads to the entire body, then it's going to be much harder to get
Yeah.
out of.
Yeah. No hope. No hope.
Oh, well, there is hope, but it's small hope.
Yeah. 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 Oh my goodness. Now, a lot of people in Indonesia and part of the Asian, they are smokers.
Mhm.
They just smoke like a train. It just, it's that general knowledge about this health that need to be promoted, I believe. Like in the US, back in the, 30, 40, 50, everybody.
Yeah, there was a lot of smoking was cool, yeah. And then I think it was about the 90s when they started that anti-smoking campaign.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, but the cigarette company doesn't really like that.
No, they hated that. No, they really, really hated that.
So
And
it
then,
back to the business, right? Oh my
uh-huh.
goodness.
And the thing was, you had people in the population that believed it, and then you had people in the population thought it was just bad, bad rep. They were just wanting to cancel or stop all the tobacco products, just to stop the tobacco farming. So again, educated individuals tend to understand it better than people that are uneducated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, let's see what we got. I think I've gone over all this. Okay, let me talk about this one too. Another one that kind of misses or can be a problem for us are viruses. So this one right here, I have the human papillomavirus. This is a virus that infects skin, or skin layers anywhere on the body, and they cause warts. So the human papillomavirus causes warts. And the way the virus works is it causes accelerated mitosis. So it's not cancer at the initial part, but it is accelerated mitosis. And since they are the virus, since the virus is affecting the rate of mitosis, there's a high chance that that cell could become cancerous. So we have several cancers that are associated with that specific virus. So ones I was talking about my head: cervical, vaginal, uterine, and the female ones, penile, and then skin cancer. Some just the typical skin cancers. They all can be manipulated by the virus, and then the virus is going to cause them to become cancerous just by messing with the DNA. It all goes back to that DNA. And then these viruses, if you have a wart, you probably tried, or you probably seen somebody with a wart that they cut the top of it off, and then in a few weeks later, it goes right back. That's because the virus is still inside the skin. It doesn't live on the top of the skin. It lives deep in the skin. So to get rid of the virus, you actually have to get rid of all the cells that are infected, which usually means cutting it off, like cutting it out in a big circle, or burning it off, freezing it off. And then that's the only way to kind of actually get rid of the virus.
Yeah. So, for the skin cancer, the viruses, just basically it's just an open place for them to, to do something, right? Because
Yeah.
we are not protected, especially our hand, right? Right here in our
Yeah.
face. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Good.
yeah, it's really a risky world that we are living in. Okay, the more you know about all this stuff, the more scarier you go outside.
Yes, being a biology professor, you see things like no, just no. You need to go to
Yeah.
doctor right now.
Right. So, yeah, that is only one type of disease, you know. Look at the stuff that we eat, okay? That cause another cancer on your tummy and, you know, and all kind of stuff, especially when they use chemical to process it, okay?
So, yep, that's a big one right now. Is a lot of these sugar-free alternatives and preservatives that we're putting into our foods. Anything else I can think of off the top of my head? But
The
they have a
spray,
lot of those have been shown to cause cancer. And
yeah,
there's
the bug spray that they use for apples, for all these pears.
DTT. Yep,
Yeah.
DTT.
Oh, my goodness, they all kind of thing, huh? So regulation is important, but of course, company try to make money. They just don't care, right?
They don't care. Exactly right. Until they're forced by the FDA to stop, they will try to squeeze it in as much as they can just to save money or make money.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah. But we need to spread this news to everybody. But again, people say, hey, you know, I only live like 70 years. I just want to enjoy.
Yeah,
Some
some
people
people
have
think
that.
that. Yeah, some people think like that. And then if they've done really good till 70, they're like, okay, I've lived 70 years. I don't really care about the next 10 if I can live 10 more. So they don't really care.
Yeah. So next time maybe we have we have an open seminar, say life happy live or live happy life, okay, for everybody. Okay. So I think you know this is the problem. If a lot of people, especially in the US, okay, the more people get sick, okay, you will see your premium will increase, your insurance premium. They are
Yeah,
not
that's
going to
true.
take that cost on
Uh-uh.
they just patch it out.
Hmm. Yeah, it's our healthcare system's just horrible.
Okay.
I
Wow.
think that's all I have for today. We're looking about what 9 minutes left. So, does anybody have any questions for me?
Maybe the first question that we have, all right, Kate. Okay, you have heard all this discussion. Okay. Okay, we heard what Kak Michelle have talk about and all of that, and how, okay, uh, this biology, chemistry can help people more healthier. Now, is there anything, okay, that you would like to know more so that we can plan better for the fall semester? All right. Now, I think this genetic is too heavy. Is that correct, Michelle?
I think, sorry, sir. I think for the genetics, for mitosis and everything, I think it's actually pretty much the basic that I've learned from my biology class. But I think if for me personally, I think I would like to learn more about the the mutations of genetics.
Yeah. Right. Now, in your case, you already get this general bio for how many years? 2 years, right? At high school? 2 or 3 years?
Um, at high school, I learned biology since the 10th grade, but I started to learn genetics in the 11th grade. So about
2
three
years.
semester, is it? Yeah, about 3 semester, 2 years.
Yeah. Now for this other kid, okay, for the other, they do not have this background whatsoever in bio. So maybe it's a little bit difficult, but what we plan, the purpose is for them to understand, okay, this is the genetics that, has a very important role. So maybe the next time, okay, when we plan, we will have general bio, so everybody have the opportunity to learn the basic first, and then we
Yeah.
move on. There's a lot of things we need to run this course, in yearly basis, I mean daily basis, but
Mhm.
that's not possible. Okay, there's so many things. Okay, so little instructor. We only have one here for the whole US. We only have Professor Pence would like to share his knowledge to us. Okay, so in that sense, we really appreciate Professor Pence help here. All right, for that, let everybody, all the kids, all the participants, to show some show some respect and thankful to Professor Pence, and we hope that in the fall you will come back again to help this kid to learn. We appreciate that. Okay, if we start with Alfonso or we start with Michelle, say something to Professor Pence. Express your gratitude.
Thank you so much, Professor.
You're welcome. I hope you learned something. I think you did. I think you did.
What about Honey and Noel or Michelle? Come on, Honey, say something. Or Noel, whoever that ready. Okay. All right, Michelle, what you have anything to say?
I think I'm going to go first. Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Pence for teaching all of us about genetics, and from these classes, I also learned lots of things that I've never been taught in my school, and also have a review for my basic genetics. So once again, I want to thank Dr. Pence for sparing his time to teach all of us, and I hope that he can teach again in the next semester. That's all for me.
Yeah,
You're very welcome.
yeah. All right. Now, Honey, practice your English. Oh, Noel. Come on, Noel. Not just a simple like Alfonso. Say thank you. That's it. Okay. Say something more. Go ahead, Noel.
He said something, but I can hear him.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, I
Thank
heard you
you.
that time. I heard you that time.
Uh-huh. Honey?
Thank you, Prof. Pence.
You're welcome.
Okay, we do not want to wait here. All right. So again, Prof, we thank you so much for your help and time, and we would like to, we continue expect or hope that you will come back for us in the coming fall semester. Thank you so
I'll be back.
much. And I would like after this maybe meet a little bit with this kid and talk in Indonesian. You are more than welcome if you want to.
I mean, I can sit here, but I'll just be like dumbfounded. So I'll jump
Okay.
out.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good summer.
Okay, thank you. You too. Oke. Gimana? Gimana, Hani? Gimana kalian? Oke. Sudah enak? Sudah dengar banyak informasi ya? Ya. Alfonso, ayo ngomong bahasa anu nih sekarang. Kok malu-malu ngomong bahasa Inggris malah nggak ngomong sama sekali, Kipi ya. Monggo, silakan kasih anu, silakan kasih komen ya.
Jadi mungkin mungkin Profesor tadi itu sudah menjelaskan banyak tentang kanker.
Mhm. Nah,
Lalu,
terus
tapi saya masih tidak paham
kamu
apa
paham
yang
apa enggak?
terjadi. Masih tidak paham
Oh,
apa
oke.
yang apa yang akan terjadi jika misalnya apa sih namanya macam kayak sakit batuk, pilek gitu. Apakah
Oh.
sama?
Lah, wong tadi ada kesempatan orang nanya, nggak nanya.
Lupa.
Ya, nah nanti dicatat. Jadi adik-adik ya, ini kesempatan ini tidak datang 2 kali. Itu sudah nonton dong videonya sehari, gitu loh. Opportunity will not come twice. Oke, ya. Jadi, dan kita tidak tahu apakah Profesor Pence itu akan datang, akan bisa ngajar lagi semester depan. Kita nggak tahu, gitu loh. Ya, nah, jadi pada saat kita punya opportunity, oke, ya kita sebaiknya ya memang memanfaatkannya dengan benar. Nah, Noel, kamu kan sebentar lagi SMP. Nah, bagaimana Noel?
Ya, kayak aku lihat aja nanti apa yang terjadi.
Ya, jadi pakailah kesempatan ini dengan baik, ya. Karena walaupun di sekolah belum tentu ya ditawarin. Yang ini itu ditawarin, belum tentu, ya. Nah, jadi sekali lagi ya kalian sudah belajar eh, lebih banyak dari yang lain-lain.